Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Awkward Turkey podcast. It is Sunday. It is fun day. It is not Monday. It's That's right. It's Sunday. 7:00, and Tom's got a big rock in his pocket.
Yeah, it's accurate. It's accurate, and it rhymes with what I actually have, which is big, which is a block.
Big lock.
Yeah, a block.
A big glockenspiel.
that I do yoga on from time.
The Awkward Turkey podcast.
Maybe we could have a new intro.
Welcome. What?
New intro that is a glockenspiel.
Yeah. Bing, bing, bing.
The Awkward
Turkey is ready to leave the station.
Phenomenal.
Maybe I could do it like Bane.
The Awkward Turkey is ready to leave the station.
Yeah, I mean, we've done...
Maybe I could do it like Herb from Family Guy. Sexy boys, the Awkward Turkey is ready to leave the station.
Yeah, I mean, we have worked out that we can utilize a couple of impressions from you.
Well, that's all I'm bringing to the table. So welcome, everybody.
It's all I want as well. We got a really, really special show for you today. He's a good friend of mine, and he's also an incredible television and film and soap, even though that's on telly as well. Director. He's moved across into radio. He's a
man of the people
podcast as
well, isn't he?
Yeah. Mr. Lee Salisbury is joining us now. Because we filmed this in reverse order, we know we had a really, really nice long chat with Lee.
It was great, yeah.
I think we're going to jump into that straight away, and you can hear some of...
Oh, I get to introduce this one, don't I?
You do get to introduce this one, yeah. And you do a really good job. You do a really good job. You do.
Mate, imagine I done the intro like this. She's been on so many TV shows.
If you'd have done the whole interview like that, I would have...
And he didn't know.
And he didn't know, just thought...
He didn't know that wasn't my voice.
Just thought that's what you were like. Anyway, everybody, Awkward Turkey podcast. It's just gone 7. Let's jump into the guest section of the show with Mr. Lee Salisbury.
He is an award-winning director from TV, film, and soap. He's worked with everyone from Barbara Windsor to Danny Dyer. Gamma Pub! He's about to launch a brand new theatre show. He's also got a hugely popular podcast. Oh, and he's worked with that idiot in the top corner. It is Sir Lee of Salisbury.
Welcome to the Awkward Turkey podcast, Lee.
Quite an intro that was, wasn't it?
I know, thanks for the intro. You're outdoing me. I mean, on my podcast, I was trying to do the Lauren Laverne thing and be really clever, but it's quite hard actually being clever.
Tom wrote that, so...
Yeah, well...
You can say all the thanks to him.
It was still good.
I mean, apart from the bit where he went, that idiot, and sort of threw it to me.
He didn't write that.
No, I didn't write that.
Yeah,
or the get out my pub bit, which I didn't write at all either.
Yeah, I don't know who that was, Barbara Windsor or Danny Dyer, with your impression there. But anyway,
it was good either way, I thought. Either way.
Could have been anyone.
Like a little audition for me, to be honest.
Yeah, you never know what might happen.
So Lee, I've been on your radio show quite recently. And obviously a lot of the stuff that Carl listed there at the beginning, he said we like TV and film and things like that. But you've made quite a transition, certainly during the lockdown time that we've had, and moved quite quickly into radio and into podcasting. Yeah. And was that just something you did because you had a creative moment? You were like, I'm just bored, I've got nothing to do, and this is what I want to do? Or was it a conscious decision to make that move from one to the other?
Well, I think the podcast was because we pitched, when lockdown happened, kind of obviously TV dried up a bit, but we just pitched a show with soap stars, and the channel's response was they're not big enough stars. And that's always been the response about soap. You know, there's always this real looking down their noses at it, even from TV, you know, from the company that makes 2 of the biggest shows. So I was like, you know what? There is a real gap in the market for people hearing. You know, I always say on the show, people don't get invited on Graham Norton in soap, even though it's watched by more people than watch Graham Norton. And loads of these stars from soap have had amazing careers or amazing lives. And there's so much to know about them that because they're friends of mine, a lot of them I know. And I just thought there's a chance for people to hear that. And there's a huge soap audience that I don't think are getting what they deserve from those stars. So you always just hear what the latest storylines are. So that's kind of what started it. And I thought, well, I'll go for the older stars, as in have left, because then you don't need to go through the press offices and everything has to be, signed off. So I thought, will people like that? But actually, I think what lockdown taught us all was people loved nostalgia. They wanted stuff that they felt comfortable with, that they knew it was like a warm blanket. So yeah, it did amazingly well. It's doing amazingly well. I think we're 2,500 out of 850,000 podcasts in the world, which is kind of mad.
It's really good.
You guys know it's quite hard measuring a podcast success in a way, unless you're Fern Cotton. So it started there, and then radio got in contact with me. So now I've got bizarrely 2 radio shows, which is weird. Do you know what I mean? But amazing, yeah.
Do you think now you've got the 2 radio shows and the podcast, and we'll get onto the fact that the podcast you've managed to turn into a stage show in a minute, but do you think that you'll go back to doing the telly stuff now that this is at the forefront?
Definitely. I still love telly, so I still want to go back, but I really want my own kind of business. Building a brand, as you guys know, takes a while, and it will take a while. So it's bizarre leaving the security of telly, I suppose, but it's great because there's so many opportunities now. And radio, bizarrely, when I was really young, I used to stick my stereo out the window at home at my mum's and do radio shows to my neighbours. No one ever listened. I mean, the volume was so low. But so it was always kind of a dream to be on the radio. So it's bizarre doing these radio shows, and kind of, it's exciting. It's kind of like it's like TV to me. It's like a hobby that's now become work, which is brilliant. So it's, just been a weird turn of events in lockdown, but great. It's really good.
Are they live TV shows or are they pre-recorded?
Radio shows.
Sorry,
they're live. Gorgeous FM is live.
Okay.
The other one's supposed to be live, but it's pre-recorded. So
how do you find the language barrier, as in not dropping the F-bomb?
Oh, I'm all right with that because I'm used to that. I suppose just working behind the scenes, even you have to be good, I suppose. But and what people are like, they're so professional. You go into overdrive on radio, I suppose. I don't ever get tempted because, like sitting here now, you probably know when you're doing radio's all a bit like this. You're kind of really upbeat and stuff. So it is a different vibe than, I don't think I ever feel like swearing, to be honest. And I'm just, both of them are feel-good shows. On Gorgeous FM, it's a real feel-good show anyway. So, it's amazing. I love it. I feel like we're doing it for years, which is mad.
Good.
With Carl talking about the live radio stuff, you did, correct me if I'm wrong, or I'll take it out if I'm wrong, but you did direct, talking of live stuff. Was it the live choreo or the live?
No, I didn't do the lives actually, but I don't mind you saying I didn't do the lives. The biggest one I did was probably Barbara Windsor's Leaving, which was her big exit, which was the Queen Vic burning down. Felt like it was almost live because it went out really quickly afterwards, but I was there at the lives for the EastEnders and the Corrie one. I wouldn't have wanted to direct. Although, to be honest...
Is that not just the most terrifying thing in the world to like...
Well, the director's job was kind of done by the night. They'd rehearsed so much that, all the shots were there. You weren't really... I suppose you were nervous hoping that all of your team did their jobs. But I think the director's job was done in a way. You could sit back and kind of, not enjoy it. But so there's nothing you could have done as a director on the show that night because you'd rehearsed it to death, and so it's whether the camera, everything worked, without your say so, I suppose, in a way.
And I remember, was it that said someone's real name?
Oh, that was Jo, who plays Tanya in EastEnders. I mean, poor her, she's never lived it down. It's always mentioned. And the loads.
Cool. It was brilliant.
So much went wrong.
It's the fear, isn't it? It's the.
Well, you know what it's like, Tom. We all know their real names and their character names, and some people look more like their character names. So it does happen loads of times on the set when you're filming normal episodes. But EastEnders, loads went wrong that you didn't know. Like Barbara Windsor skipped about 4 pages of dialogue, and Rita and Sam, who played Ronnie and Roxy, unbelievably pulled it back to the beginning of the scene somehow. So that's a nightmare. I think Jack, Scott, who plays Jack, forgot the first line. And Max Branning, Jake stepped in. So, we'd all seen the rehearsals, so we knew every bit that went kind of wrong, but I don't think anyone noticed. I
just don't know why they do it, because it just seems like they've got it down. It works. I mean, Carl's done, ironically, there's a linkage because Carl used to do Holby. I don't know if he did Holby City at the same time. Holby City. We'll talk about that in a sec. But when you're doing anything on soap, we all know this, the speed in which that you're expected to. I remember going in for my first days at Hollyoaks and going, surely that was a rehearsal, and then like an hour later going, oh no, that we've done that scene now. Do you know what I mean? So they
Well, I
get
think-
really good at doing it fast, and the turnover and the quality's amazing and all that sort of stuff. But why crowbar it and go, let's do a live one? I think
though the actors for the first time they had weeks of rehearsals. So it was the other way round. In fact, they actually rehearsed that one episode like in the old days. I mean, when I joined Corrie, some of the older cast, Eileen, who played Emily Bishop, told me, look, the years gone by, these have a week of rehearsals, and then a producer's run before they recorded one episode. Mad. So yeah, it's really quick, but I think that took the cast back to probably those old school times. So they did all get to rehearse. I mean, I think it's a lot to ask the cast to go live. I think they do it because it's a talking point. I think soaps are trying their hardest to match Netflix series and stuff in their own ways of what, credit to them. If they can, those shows all pulled it out of the bag alive. And a tram crash was live. Do you know what I mean?
I watched that one.
Yeah.
That one
you know
was
what
great.
I find amazing? How it's managed to, like you say, so 4 pages of dialogue are missed. No one knows. How do you manage to keep it in half an hour?
I think it didn't matter if it overran, to be honest.
Sides.
I don't think it mattered if they overran. But again, everything was really timed to perfection. It was more that people were having to run from, because as we know, if people watching and listening don't know, obviously soap sets are very different. So the outside of Emmerdale is 45 minutes from the inside sets. So theirs was the toughest one. So they had cast based outside, obviously. They won't be able to do the transitions. But even Corrie, the studio with the outside sets is like a 5-minute walk. So cast were running from like the inside of the pub to the outside of the pub in another scene. So no one could really drop lines because you've got, I remember Paula Lane, who played Kylie, said there were literally, 10 seconds gaps, where they had to get there and run. So no one would, what they might have done is destroy the magic, but they didn't, because everyone's so amazing that works on soap, the crew and stuff. And it's when I did the Queen Vic, not that it was live, but when you do something special, everyone just loves that, sudden energy of something a bit new and a bit exciting. Yeah. So, you've got to think these people have worked there for years. It's great that they try to think outside the box. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And for you, what's it like being in control, like directing and being in control of such a big moment?
Like Barbara Windsor's last episode.
That's like such a big deal. But also, do you feel the not the pressure, but the kind of, do you feel the moment of it all? Or is it just like another episode? Because like if you play a big festival, sometimes you just have to look, it's just another gig. We're just ticking off another gig, because otherwise, not that you fall to pieces, but the event can override you.
Yeah. I was really, I suppose I got EastEnders. I got The Fire because I'd worked with Barbara years ago on a holiday program. I was doing Emmerdale. I'd written to EastEnders lots, hadn't got back. So then I won a soap award for Emmerdale. So EastEnders were keen. And then they asked Barbara who she wanted to direct, and she didn't, really want anyone that was there, I think, at the time. So anyway, they mentioned that I was coming, and because she worked with me before, she said, yes, Lee. So I got told, and I was like, oh my God. So offset, you are really nervous. But then my first night in EastEnders filming was outside doing the post-fire scenes, and with the entire cast. So around the corner of the lot came Jude, Dot Cotton, Pat Butcher, Bianca, Ricky, Phil, Ronnie, Roxy, everyone you can think of, the whole cast. So I was standing there going, oh my God. Do you know what I mean? And but you just click into work mode. And then I do just click into work mode. It's afterwards I'll go home and go, oh my God, as if that's happened. But the moment was that going out. I mean, we were front page of all the papers the day it went out. And it'll go down in history as my favorite. Like, you felt like the nation was watching. It felt incredible to have been directing it. And again, once you've edited it, you put your most into filming, so by the edit it is going to be good. I knew it was going to be good, and so not just because of me, because of everyone. I mean, I had a brilliant stunt team and everything. I mean, we actually rebuilt the Queen Vic in the Star Wars stage, the George Lucas stage.
Really?
So we could set fire to the sets. They replicated the entire set. I mean, it cost a fortune. So we were this little set in this huge fire studio, the George Lucas stage around the corner, and so that was incredible. That hadn't been done before, and so we were able to go to town with it. So everything involved with that. Big Brother was on at the time. I remember, I've told this story before, but when we filmed the fire on the square, the pyrotechnics were all set and all the electricity went out because the Big Brother final had cut the power out. So we were like, oh my God, it could have blown up without us filming. And I just remember Barbara Windsor going, oh, this is a sign, darling. He doesn't want me to go up there. So yeah, every night was just brilliant. Every day on EastEnders, because I used to love it. So you're working with total legends. You know, if Steve McFadden, I remember the first day he said, "Could I speak to the director?" And I was like, "Oh, that's me."
Yeah.
Oh
Wow.
no, because I mean he's quite scary. He's a brilliant guy, but he's quite scary. You know, you've got to think these people are like, who is this coming on set directing? Do you know what I mean?
You also I remember you saying to me when you first got I can't remember if it might have been EastEnders, but you're I don't take this the wrong way, but you were quite young to be a director at that time, and I said to you, do you get treated a little bit differently because most directors, not that all directors are old, but you were very, very young to be directing.
I did used to look really young. So I remember on Emmerdale, my first day directing, Charlotte Bellamy, who plays Laurel, came up and said, "Oh, hello, you're new." She said, "Are you on the book?" Which is basically the lowest job on set, you know, like giving them their cues. I was like, "No, I'm actually directing." She's like, "Wow." I think no one was horrible. They all test you, but I think that always happens even now. You know, people test you. Once they knew, hopefully, that I was good, which I think they did. No, they didn't treat me any differently. You know, I think I was different than a different old school. Not that there's anything wrong with those directors, but I think we're all a bit different younger. So I think they did think at first, who is this? Steve McFadden, you can imagine would be like, what? He's directing our biggest block. And I remember going into EastEnders thinking, everyone will love the fact I'm doing this. All the other directors must be going, "Oh my God, it's brilliant. Welcome aboard." Of course, they would have been going, "What? We wanted this.
We've been here for how long and you've got this."
Yeah, so I realized then there's probably hostility more towards in the director camp, you know, that I learned. So I was learning all the time. So I was this innocent person thinking politics didn't happen. Of course they do. But, you know, I used to just go in and do the job. I tried not to get involved with all of that, really.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. The politics of it.
In the end, you want to go, well, sorry, I'm doing it.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Pinch anything from the Queen Vic?
No, I've got a beer mat from all of them. But
wow, that's cool.
No, that's kind of, they can't. Yeah, no, I never felt like you. I mean, yeah, no, I didn't pinch a thing. I think people that like even the actors get to take a bit of costume home.
Right.
I got given by Patsy Palmer, who plays Bianca, a pair of her glasses. Bianca's glasses. But I mean, again, you know, look, what I think, you know, it's like people at concerts. You know, you see people at concerts filming it all on their phone. You just think, put your phone down and enjoy the moment. And I think
of course.
I don't need a prop to remind me of the memories. You know what I mean, it's like all in there because I just took it all in.
Yeah.
I'd love the whatever it's called. What's it called? That thing on the bar, the Queen Vic.
Is it Queen Victoria's head? Isn't it?
I mean, that would be amazing, wouldn't it? What I love is anyone that's run the pub in any of the soaps gets given their name. Once they lose the pub, they get given that sign from outside that says
Landlord.
Bernice is licensed to. So everyone, I think the cast love that. They've all got them in their kitchens when they've left.
That's
I had
cool.
the in Holby one of the scenes. The kind of like big scene was that I stabbed one of the doctors, and they gave me the
knife
scissors, the surgical scissors.
Oh wow, were they plastic really or something?
They were rubber.
Yeah.
They gave me that. Yeah,
I think Carl King. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? It's quite hard. I always find on soap or a drama, it's very hard. The hardest things are always stump people because they try to act and they can't really act. So I remember the ones playing Lacey and Ryan had to fall out the window through a fire thing, but they tried to act and it was like, it just doesn't look like them. So I found that quite hard because that's kind of out of your control a bit.
Yeah.
And I remember like Barbara, the best story was the woman playing Barbara Windsor, the stunt woman, kind of quite looked like her, especially from behind the wig, the outfit. And she was a stunt coordinator. So after every big thing, she was like arranging all the cardboard boxes for people to fall. And I was like, everyone was like, Barbara, stop, sit down. She had around, it wasn't her.
Because they thought it was actually her.
Yeah. But those things, because that was all new to me, all stunts and stuff, they're quite hard things like that. Like slaps are quite, they're quite hard to get right, everything like that. Do you know what I mean?
find it so weird that you have to move in the direction you have to move is kind of not what
the thing is.
It's like opposite. It's such a weird thing.
Well, I think as an actor, you know, you're expecting it, which in real life you're not. So it's very hard, as a director, you're always watching to make sure they don't preempt the fall.
Right. Okay.
Because you know, you can see it in some actors' faces, like, oh, it's coming.
Right. Yeah.
I think the best slaps on telly are the ones
real.
that are actual slaps.
Yeah.
Whenever I've been
allowed
slapped,
to do that anymore at all.
Really?
I mean, it's health and safety mad now, you know. I mean, I'm not saying it's not good. It should be. But I remember doing Crime Watch years ago. You know, we would film tracking shots out the back of a car and stuff. Do you know what I mean? And it was like, you know, Now you can't. The budgets are no higher for soaps. So it's quite hard. What I do think is, why do soaps keep doing so many stunts? I think soap needs to go back to being not so much plot-led, but character-led. You know, like a load of actors will go, Corrie used to be the best when they used to have a 6-page scene about nothing, but it's the characters. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's what soaps have got above any other drama, that, you know, a 6-part drama hasn't developed those characters of 40 years. So you use that rather than trying to compete with films and Netflix series that do stunts brilliantly. Do you know what I mean? Because, and you know, stunts now in soap don't look that great because there's not the money, you know. So just concentrate on what you've got, which is brilliant characters.
If you had to hazard a guess, just talking about money and soaps and things like that, as to how much it would have cost to completely rebuild the Queen Vic in the George Lucas stage and then burn it down.
I've got no idea. To be honest, I really have got no
idea. What the budget must have been for that episode.
No one ever tells you. And I kind of didn't ever want to know, because I think what I do know is when we did the stunt of 2 of the actors falling out the window through a fireball, I remember I said go again because I thought they looked like they were acting. And I had the boss, Brian Curtin, behind me, and he was like, you know, that cost another £2,000. I was like, what? It was even
just to
more
throw
than that.
2 people out a window.
Yeah, because of the cost of them. Yeah. So I was like, God, it was more than that. It was more than that. It was something like £9,000 because they get paid a fortune. Obviously, they deserve it. But yeah, so things like that was like, God. So then you're playing on your mind, like, do I live with things? See, I never live with anything. But then, so it's hard as a director when you've got so many elements against you, because, you know, you'll know, Tom, I do enjoy directing actors. It's great when actors come up with their own ways of doing stuff, but stunts and stuff are a bit out of your control. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I haven't done a lot of stunts, but I remember, ironically, it's a good story. I was shooting something with you called Real Crime.
Oh yes,
and we needed some shots in. I believe it might have been St Pancras Station, and also on the train. We were doing something on a train.
Yeah.
And I remember whoever else was there on the day had sort of said that the train company, it was like a flat rate of, I don't know, £6,000 to film on the train. And you just looked at me and went, should we just try and get away with it? And we did. We filmed it on the train and just.
I think a lot of people still do that. You know what it is because I remember going to Windsor Park for something, and they were like, Harry Potter film there. So they were expecting, like, you know, because the places like that don't have any realization of the difference of budgets. They all think we're Harry Potter. Do you know what I mean? So you're always up against weird, like, again, luckily in drama, Real Crime was much more of a small band, wasn't it? In drama, you've got location assistants all doing that. And luckily people want to be on soaps. But yeah, it's stuff like that that's just. Not that I would want to. Jonas Armstrong's on my radio show this week, and he was talking about being an Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise, and he said it was just mad because you walked on, like, the set was six Wembley stadiums in one, and you had real robots roaming. There's planes crashed on the floor. You know, that scares me to death. I wanted to do Hollywood in a way, because I think then you've got so many elements out of your control. Do you know what I mean? And green screen and everything like that. I just think, can you imagine? And Tom Cruise, you know, you're working with people that probably are a pain in the bum.
So you mentioned, like, maybe Tom Cruise might be a bit difficult to work with. I don't know. I've never worked with him.
Allegedly, yeah.
Allegedly.
He's not, actually. Allegedly, Jonas says he was absolutely amazing.
I can imagine that a guy who's had a career that length of time hasn't had it by being a knob. I think he's had it by being a genuinely lovely person. But for you personally, who's the best actor you've ever worked, actor or actress? I know it's the same word now, actor for both, but best actor you've ever worked with, and also the one that you wouldn't be wanting to work with again, the diva, the worst.
And we can bleep that out if you want.
Yeah, you can say it and then you can retract it.
Just so we get a reaction.
I think, you know what, the best, it's so hard to put a best. I think Barbara Windsor was definitely one of the best because A, she's a living legend. B, actors, I do think in our culture today, there's this thing of just wanting to be famous. Now, Barbara was really famous, but she also she grew up working the boards, treading the boards, whatever they used to say. You know, she fought for what she wanted, not to be famous, to act. And that you could tell in everything, her professionalism, the fact she was never late, the fact she knew her lines. Everyone would go on set and be ready. Do you know what I mean? Because of just the respect for her, that she would never get it wrong, or she would never. And that when she left, I said, they're really going to miss you, because newer, younger people come in. I don't think it's just their fault. They hit this sudden fame thing that they're not really prepared for. They're not really advised on it. They then start to kind of, you know, if you're not guided, it's like at school, if you get in with the wrong crowd, I suppose, or whatever. So Barbara was just so professional. It was amazing. She said the best thing once. I said outside her pantomime, my God, you signed everyone's autographs. I'd be rubbish if I was famous. And she was like, Lee, these are the people that made me, darling. I would never not sign an autograph. And it's just that level of like, wow. Do you know what I mean? That's amazing.
Do you know what? When I was filming Holby, obviously it was just the same canteen for Holby and EastEnders.
Which is mad, yeah.
And I was on my own. I was like 18, 19 on my own, no one there with me kind of thing. And I'd finish my scenes. I would go to the canteen. Every time I went there, come over, darling, come and sit.
Oh, did you? Yes, that was Barbara. Yeah.
That was like mind blowing for me. But for her, it was just like, share the experience.
Yeah, she never saw herself as, she called me governor, like she'd always call the boss governor. She's a toy to her along in her little shoes. She made everyone feel welcome. Yeah, she was still, you wouldn't want to cross, you would, but everyone would deliver. Same with Barbara Knox in Corrie. I wouldn't say, I got, not that I didn't get on with her, but Barbara, I think just because Barbara, I love Carry On. She was this legend. And when you meet someone who's not at all precious, and also just that level of, she did it, the best actors, they always say this, I think it's true, that no one who's really good, it's not the A-listers that are a nightmare, it's the C and D-listers. Do you know what I mean? The people who think they are someone.
Same in music.
And it's just like the fame that it's not like you should want to act rather than be famous, I think. So there's her, the best scene I've ever done is with Charlotte Bellamy, who plays Laurel in Emmerdale, which was the other best episode I'm most proud of, is we did a baby death, a cot death in Emmerdale. And the writer, Karen Young, who was amazing, had basically made the whole episode that everyone had suffered from a cot death. She made every character in the episode deal with it in a different way, so it related to you at home, hopefully in some way. And I filmed it on Steadicam in the studio, which is the first time ever, because I wanted everything in one, because the best thing about soap is it is quick, like Tom, you said. But the magic of it is that you can get stuff in one. And like the idea of doing an emotional scene 14 times for different angles. I mean, when you get it in one, and she did the scene where she found the baby upstairs and they had this realistic weighted baby. And she came down the stairs and it was just like, live with me forever. It was so harrowing and so amazing. Like there was not one person not crying. It was silence and just the level. We won an award for it, which was brilliant. But the best thing was the letters afterwards. We got this one letter from a woman who said she had made her husband watch it. They had suffered from a cot death. They hadn't talked about it for a year and a half. She made him watch the episode and they stayed up till like 6 a.m. talking. She was just like, thank you to everyone. And stuff like that is when I went, my God, I'd always looked at TV as like, oh, we don't do anything important. Actually, we do something really important. You can, because people watch soap day in, day out, they love and know these characters. So they relate to them much more than a film could. So that proved to me, and we did really care when we did that episode, to really care about everything. Because the littlest thing, in a soap could be someone's real life. And that's what soap's about. So in a way, credit to every soap actor, to be honest, because the way they work, all out of sequence, you're in every day. You might be in every day if you're in a big storyline. Then you go home and learn another 18 scenes. They're incredible. So, and the worst, oh God.
There's got to be one that just sort of sticks out where you go, do you know what?
Wine. I won't say the name because I don't, but there was one, I've told this story really, but there's one actress who was a nightmare on Emmerdale. And to the point that there was one scene with another director, he wanted her to do it again. And she said, in the end, she said, okay, I'll do it again. And she stood and faced the wall and did it again and then walked off. So she was a nightmare. And in the end, Emmerdale didn't suffer any of that. So in the end, halfway through a storyline, when they knew they had a scene they could get rid of her, they got rid of her and she got marched out. And that kind of makes Emmerdale a place that no one's bigger than anyone and you can't behave like that. So again, I wouldn't say, honestly though, I never had a problem with her. And I've actually been so lucky that I've never had a problem because I think I'm quite good at adapting to people. There's people I wouldn't be friends with,
Yeah, outside of
set,
work, sure.
I've always, luckily, been able to see a way through. Do you know what I mean? You can see a way. I've never had enough. When I was a runner in telly, God, loads of awful people. Mostly in the music industry, to be honest.
Go on.
I can't name that. I can't name names.
Here's a question for you.
Nobody ever does, by the way. Whenever we ask those questions, they always diplomatically go.
It's just horrible because you go, they might have changed by now as well.
Yeah,
two of the people I would mention are back on kind of telly, and they seem changed people because I think they haven't worked because it spreads, doesn't it? This industry, so
it's so tiny as well. It's so tiny.
Here's a question. So when you watch TV and film now, do you watch it with do you judge it? Do you go, oh,
yeah, that's a good question.
Dodge, that's, because
I'd have done that differently.
I like when I listen to music and I hear a brand new song, my mind maybe goes, oh, I wouldn't have gone there. It's just an automatic thing.
Yeah.
So do you watch films and TV now differently? And has it spoilt it for you, or is it okay?
It has to be something quite bad for it to really stick out to me. Do you know what I mean? Because I think I don't like any like fake movements. You know, like if there's one scene, I can't remember what it was in, but someone came in a room to talk to someone. They kind of walked all the way around them and then turned and faced them and then turned out the window. You know, when people do scenes, they look out the window and talk to someone behind them. You're like, that never happens in real life. When did you do that in real life? Have a meaningful moment looking out the window with someone behind you. Be like, what are you looking at?
Yeah.
Like, that annoy me. But bad acting kind of does annoy me. You know, like if you go to a panto, there's normally one person, or normally theatre, there's always one person that's bad.
Yeah, there is. There absolutely is.
There's always one person you're like, oh, and then I can't stop watching them in theatre.
But also, they say the rule of thumb is, if you can't find the person in the cast that's that person, it's you.
Yeah, oh God, yeah. I saw recently, 9 to 5. Not recently, years ago, it seems like now, before all the lockdown. But there was the first production I think I've ever seen where I was like, my God, everyone was brilliant. I said to my friend Chelsea Harpany, everyone was amazing. But no, I don't look at things and go, I would have filmed it like that, really, because I do step out of my job. Do you know what I mean? I'm not even on soap. I kind of don't. What I love, what I love is when I've done stuff, because I remember one interview I got asked, what's your style? And I was like, well, I wouldn't say I've got a style, because you adapt your style for every job. You know, like I wouldn't film Holby like I'd film Emmerdale, you know, and I wouldn't film Holby like a film noir film. Do you know what I mean? Which I love that stuff. But what I say is, I think if you watch my episodes, you can normally think they're Lee episodes. And I don't know what that is. It's hard to put my finger on, but I think obviously I do things.
Yeah, you have a style. Yeah.
In
my way.
Do you have a style, but it's not. You know what I mean? You're not approaching everything trying to make it in the same way.
I always say, because like you said, when you watch things, for me, I don't think you can learn to direct. You can learn the technicalities, but I just know when something's good. If I cry, I know it's brilliant. If I laugh. So recently I did a play with Catherine Tilsley, who's amazing. And she had to do a big speech. And I kind of went up to her and said, I know this is the worst director note. And I was just like, I want to go again just because I just didn't feel it. And it's like, and she was like, right, okay. And I gave her a couple of notes on things I thought in a way of think about this. But she did it again, I think, to just, and it worked. And I cried and I was like, that's it. And she didn't quite know why. So I just think, I think, and as an actor, Tom, you'll think, and Cole, you'll think, you have to trust the director in a way. I think if you know the director's okay and you can trust them to go, right, if you thought it
makes
good,
a big difference, yeah,
because I know what's going to work for me. And if it works for me, I think it will work. Like the cot death, I think just worked because we just got every moment right. Do you know what I mean? So
I think it's also a thing with if you're getting notes or you're taking notes is to not take it personally, because there is a lot of times, certainly I've been given a note on something a bit like that where I go, I don't really know what that was for. I don't know. And then I'll do it in what I think is exactly the same way with it won't feel any different, but that's it. And you have to trust that the person who's directing you has a little bit of a better idea to view it in a different way.
It's hard giving notes because it feels like you're being embarrassing to the person in a way. Do you know what I mean? But you're not. I often try to give notes that are more, I suppose, emotional. Like think about when you like that line. Do you know what I mean? Imagine saying that to her. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? You're trying not to go, well, say it like this. It's just trying to always find something to compare that line to, or something in that they'll go, oh, right, yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's just trying, again, that's been a learning experience for me because every actor's different. You know how to treat every actor differently with notes. You wouldn't say to Barbara Windsor the same as you would to Steve McFadden. You know how to work them, I suppose. Do you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't go to Barbara, that was terrible. You go, oh, it's great, but, do this. Surely you wouldn't say that to any actor. But some of them you would have, like...
Yeah, the man management part of it as well comes in, I guess, as a director.
I think that's the hardest part of the job. It's like being a headmaster sometimes. It's really hard managing that many cars. I remember my husband was like, my God, you got hundreds of friends. I was like, no, they think... No, this sounds awful. They think I'm their friend. You are their friend on set. But you have to get that relationship. But they're not, that's part of your job as a director, to make everyone feel that you totally love them.
Yeah, and some people need their ego stroked, and some people need, no, look, you need to do this, and it's horse for courses kind of thing.
What are you like on that, Carl? Because I am 100% praise. I need somebody to tell me I'm doing a good job in order. I think
we all do, don't we, in a way. We all do in life, in a way. We're all wanting that. We all want. You want a director to come on and go, "Oh my God, that was amazing, Tom." Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
That's what you want to hear. Yeah.
But notes aren't normally that it's not amazing. It's just more, I suppose. I only can ever judge it on how I feel watching it when I'm directing it. So if it doesn't get me, for me, I do think I'm kind of like the general audience watching. I do think I get, normally for a consensus wise, like say watching It's a Sin, I mean, I've not heard anyone come away going, well, didn't even move me. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of, they would have known at the time certain scenes. I mean, I guess what I do now is guess twists really easily. I guess the Welsh guy was going to die. Sorry if you've not watched it, but I guess the Welsh guy was going to die from the beginning, because I was like, well, that's so the character they're going to get rid of first. So I'm quite good now at just spotting where the story is going to go.
It's like
don't watch a film with Lee, basically. Don't watch a movie with
I'll be like, I'll guess the ending at the beginning,
Yeah.
If the only one I didn't was Line of Duty, then no one did they? It was like, what the hell is this?
I don't really know what that ending was anyway.
No.
I haven't watched the latest series yet, but everyone looked very disappointed on social media the next day. So just quickly, I want to do some quick fire questions with you before you go, but I want you to just tell me a little bit about, because your podcast is Soap from the Box, and you're about to do a stage version of that.
Yes.
How does that work? What is it called?
Yeah, so
when is it on?
There's 50 episodes of the podcast, by the way, for people to listen to. Series 3 is coming. Again, I just thought someone I know who's a big actor was like, I want to do an evening with show. Like they were on telly, you get theatre. Joan Collins does them in theatres. And I just thought, God, so I'm not really trying to replicate the podcast. I just thought there's a show in a load of soap stars on stage being interviewed. So I'm going to do it Graham Norton style. I've got a famous host, Cherie Murphy, who was in Emmerdale, because obviously I'm not famous. We will both be on stage, have all the guests on at once. So we've got people, Daniela Westbrook, Nina Wadia, Tom Lister, Verity Rushworth, all kind of people that get on, or some people don't know each other. So the idea is to sit them down, talk behind the scenes stories, not so much gossip, but like stuff that people I know are interested in. Talk about the past, talk about the biggest storylines, talk about Dina Payne meeting the Queen and nearly blowing up the post office and it hitting her, things like that. We'll play some celebrity juice style games just because I love that. And then the second half of the show will be open to the audience. So Cherie will be roaming around the audience and anyone can ask what they want. So it's just basically an evening with your favourite soap stars. So
it sounds great. And I would say, when's it on? At the moment, we're saying September. It's the 1st of August
and the 1st of September in Leeds, which I know not everyone is anywhere near Leeds, but we are planning to go nationwide with it, to go to all the little theatres. I always think Panty does so well with one soap star in, and it's not really it's not to make money, I suppose. It's just to take this idea. I think I've got this unique access to people. It's not like an interview with a journalist or whatever. I know these people, so you get a unique insight. I was a director on it, so you get a kind of actor studio type vibe. And I just want to use that unique access to give people some fun. You got these soap fans who will love seeing these people together. I mean, I love the idea of Daniela Westbrook with Viv from Emmerdale. It's great.
Yeah, it does sound really good. It does sound really good. And so it's Soap from the Box Live is what it's called.
Yeah, we're called it. You know what? And I'll say that for the first time on this, because we postponed it, I think it's a bit confusing, the podcast element, because I think people are like, is it a live podcast? Which is not. I'm not even really recording it as a podcast. I suppose it's more now we're theming it as an audience with Soap from the Box. Do you know what I mean? An audience with your favourite soap stars. So you sit there and you can, and each show's unique, and you sit there and kind of, again, it's not about spilling secrets, because we all know none of us can reveal the proper secret.
No, when
it never works
again. These cameras, it's a better podcast. It's just a better podcast.
Yeah.
It's a better show.
So it's not that we're lying. It's just the version that we can air. But I'm always amazed when people tell me the stories. Like Dina, was in Dina, who played Viv Windsor in Emmerdale, was in a pop band, the first original girl band. With Lorraine Chase. So, you learn things, I learn things, and go, what? It's amazing. So, yeah, it's to shock people and go, oh my God, it's amazing.
Fab.
Just quickly touching on that, how do you find social media has changed secrets?
I think social media...
Does anything ever spill accidentally and it's like, oh no, and we... I think,
like as a unit and the press are included, like when something big's happening, I think they all want to keep it a secret. There's still got that thing, hasn't it? Like Corrie Live or the reveal of a murderer. There's certain things that they push out all the time. But there's certain things I think, like Line of Duty, loads of people would have known who it was. But, everyone loves getting involved in that thing. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, it kind of causes a bit of hype.
Can you imagine spilling the beans? You'd be hated.
Yeah.
That is true.
You would be hated. And why would you? You wouldn't want to spoil it for everyone. I would hate someone who told, what have I revealed? I've revealed who died in It's a Sin and Line of Duty. So
they're already out.
Your podcast has made me hated.
There'll be people who are watching it and go, yeah, I'm not sure I'd seen that yet, but yeah. Awesome. Right. What I want to do just before we let you go, Lee, is it's just a quick fire. So you've got to answer as quickly as possible on these.
Oh God, okay, right.
Quickly as possible. I don't know. Carl, do you want to
kick it off?
You can kick it off, yeah?
I can if you want, yeah.
Oh, you look like, by the way, you're on like you look like the set looks a bit like you're on those pay-per-view. People are like, call me now.
That's what I do in the night.
Yes, it does. Babe Station.
Like yeah.
Babe
It's been hard 12 months. I'm not being funny.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
It's been a hard 12 months. So some of us just got to earn a living.
A really kind of a downplayed Big Brother diary room.
Well, yeah, that is what I do in the day.
Yes, it's great. Anyway, sorry.
Would you rather stay in or go out?
Stay in.
Get up early or stay up late?
Get up early.
Ask for help or figure it out yourself?
Figure it out myself.
Rich and famous or just rich?
Just rich.
TV or radio?
Hard, isn't it? They don't want to piss off anyone. I have to
pass.
go.
You can pass.
Fine.
I don't actually know.
Take a vow of celibacy or take a vow of silence. That's forever. So no more sex or no more talking.
Oh my God. That'd be my job gone or fun gone. I suppose I'd have to say celibacy. And no, anyway.
Okay, EastEnders or Corrie?
EastEnders.
You've had your pass.
No, EastEnders, because it was my kids. It was my soap. Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
And one more thing, we've done this with all the guests we've had on this month, and that is if you could go back in time and meet your 17-year-old self, so just before Lee became a grown man, and you could give him some advice, but you're only allowed to use 3 words, what would those 3 words be? So you've traveled back through time, you've met yourself,
I've got them.
Go on.
Don't trust anyone.
Wow,
it's good.
First time we've had that.
It is really good. We had, I think Carl's was buy some Bitcoin or something like that.
Yeah.
Invest in
Apple. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is pretty
and I
much
don't say that in a really bad, but yeah, I think I've learned you can really only trust yourself, even not in a bad way. Do you know what I mean? You've got to go by your own decisions. You've got to think. So it's not just that people are going to mess you over. It's more that you've got to rely on what feels good, rely on your judgment. Don't trust anyone in terms of just trust yourself in a way. Yeah.
It's good advice. Thank you so much for joining us on the Awkward Turkey podcast, Lee.
It's been amazing. Thank you, chaps.
If you could just tell us where people can get tickets for your theatre show.
Yes. So follow me on social media. I'm at Soap from the Box on all of the social medias. So all the information's there, but it's leedsheritagetheatres.com to buy tickets. And yeah, I would say just go to Soap from the Box. All the information's there. It's much easier. And the podcast as well is obviously that, and you can download that anywhere. And the radio is Gorgeous FM. You can't forget that. Do you know what I mean? Beautiful. Best name for a radio, because they say we're the little idents say we're gorgeous. It's amazing. Do you know what I mean? What a brainwave.
And looking at the 2 of you today, I think we all
I don't know. Well, my pay-per-view rising, yeah. Carl definitely in his pay-per-view set.
Hey, what if I sit like this?
Better? Much better. Yeah.
You're welcome, world. You're welcome.
Yeah. Lee, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Lee.
Thank you, chat.
See you really soon.
Bye.
Thank you very, very much, Mr. Lee Salisbury. Wow, he's got some stories.
Fun,
he's got some stories, and I think that's kind of what his stage show's going to be like. He's going to be them talking about all the stuff that happens on. I had no idea they rebuilt the entire Queen Vic just to burn it down.
Imagine that. I'd have been really excited about being in the Star Wars place, George Lucas stage.
Again, not to go over old ground, but I haven't seen it. And I haven't seen it. Yeah. No. I will do one day.
You remind me of a character from Star Wars.
Go on.
No, you do. Genuinely, you look like a character from Star Wars.
Yeah. I just thought there was a punchline to it.
No punchline. I can tell you who it is, and you can go and be like, oh God, yeah, I do look like him.
No, I'm not interested.
With my good looks, I do look like him.
I'm not interested.
Jabba.
Yep, Jabba the Hutt. There we go. Well, it's going to be I know what he looks like, and I know what Yoda looks like. So, thanks.
You fat slag.
Well, Carl's been sensible for 40 minutes, and
I gotta get it out.
now it's gone. Listen, we had a great long chat with Lee, but we have overrun a little bit today on this one. So we will say thank you so much to Mr. Lee Salisbury, and also thank you so much to you guys for watching, for listening, for supporting, and for being genuinely lovely human beings.
Yeah, go follow us all and write a comment. Like the page. Job's a good one.
Leave a review. Leave a review, and we will see
click
you when.
subscribe. There's a lot to do actually there.
Yeah, it's quite a lot to do.
Do one of them this week, and then next week do another.
Yeah, break it down. Give yourself like a little checklist.
Yeah.
Tasks.
Yeah, like you give me.
Yeah, pretty much.
Don't swear. Don't slag anyone off.
Try not
Keep the
to
trousers on.
Yeah, and try not to alienate an entire country. Yeah, no, it's good. It's easy.
Anyway, should we drop those mics?
I think we should. See you next week. Bye-bye.